This movie is so beyond frustrating, but not in the ways that I could have predicted. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam, here with my brief thoughts on The Invitation. This was directed by Jennifer Thompson, and it stars Nathalie Emmanuel, and it tells the story of a young woman named Evie, played by Emmanuel. She's living in New York City, and with the recent death of her mother, she is quite down. However, at an event that she is working at, she finds and is given one of those 23andMe style generation tests. She does it on a lark and sends it in, only to realize that she has not just a British cousin, but pretty much an entire British family that is very excited to meet her. And so she links up with her cousin in New York, and they travel to London for a wedding. And well, stuff happens. When I saw that this was on the docket, I was thinking to myself, okay, and considering the fact that this was produced by Screen Gems, I had a feeling I knew what I was in store for, and I was wrong. Now, this is going to be a bit tricky to review because, well, something happens, and there's a very big plot point to this movie that the marketing has done a good job of hiding. So I'm not going to spoil it here. I'm going to have a spoiler section talking about it because, like I said, this movie is frustrating as hell. But for those of you who do actually want to see it, I don't want to ruin it for you because the twist was ruined for me. I was watching a YouTube short of a review and they just straight up said what the twist was, and I felt so robbed. So I'm not going to do that. I'll dedicate a spoiler section to it, but for right now, spoiler free. Like I said, this movie is frustrating. However, in the grand scheme of things, it was 1,000 times better than I thought it was going to be. Firstly, I thought Nathalie Emmanuel was good in her role. I was really rooting for her and I wanted her to make it out of this situation. And I also really liked how it looked like a lot of this movie was done on actual sets. Like, for example, most of the movie takes place at this very Downton Abbey-esque estate. And it looks like they actually either like rented a house and shot it there or built a set and like built an actual house set to use. I loved that. I'm glad it wasn't all just CGI. But again, really, it's the twist that is so frustrating about this movie because in whole, I think it's very well made. However, just a part of me that is just I was just sitting there just like, really? Like, what the hell? So here is the spoiler section. Jump to this time code if you want my final thoughts, but for right now, spoilers until that point. Basically, the big twist is that Evie goes to this big old house for this wedding, and it's actually her wedding. And it's not just her wedding, but she is getting married to Dracula and his extended family, because, well, not all of them are vampires, but there's definitely a vampire connection. And there's no illusions. This is Dracula. Like, Dracula literally calls himself Nosferatu in this. And he even says one of his names is translated as Son of the Dragon, which is Dracula. They pretty much they don't say the name, but it's pretty much Dracula. Not to mention that all the side characters have something, or most of the side characters have something related to the Bram Stoker work. I mean, even in some of the smaller details, like Dracula has two brides, and he always has three. Dracula's main servant was Renfield, and in this movie, the main butler of the house is named Mr. Field. Do you get it? The main patriarch of the house is named Great Uncle Arthur. One of the husbands in Dracula. One of the wives is named Mina, who actually is married to Jonathan Harker in the original novel. Hell, there's even a Jonathan Harker who lives in the town adjacent to the estate. And guess what the estate's name is? New Carfax Abbey. If you've never read the Bram Stoker work, Carfax Abbey is where Dracula moves to from Transylvania to England. What makes this so frustrating is that for the first, I want to say, hour 15, hour 30, this movie is basically, I can't believe it's not Downton Abbey. It's very much about families and scandals and Evie being welcomed into the family, but some think it goes against tradition. And it's entertaining in parts, but it's also kind of boring. But there's this monster running around and you're thinking, oh, this is definitely different. And then at a certain point, it's not explicitly shown in the trailer, but it's shown in the trailer that some of these people are vampires, and Dracula is going to get married to Evie so that Evie can merge the bloodlines of the three families together, and Dracula and his wives can live forever. And it's equally frustrating considering where vampire movies are right now. There's a generation of people who think that vampires are Twilight. And I've never really been truly on board the Twilight hate train, but it's definitely not helped the reputation of vampire content, let's just say that. And even vampire content, like maybe outside of, say, What We Do in the Shadows, hasn't really been taken all that seriously. The only Dracula movie we've gotten, as far as I know, is in 2014's Dracula Untold, which is a movie that I don't think a ton of people really saw. And whatever vampire content has been made in like the past few years has been like TV stuff. Like I know there was a Nosferatu show on AMC starring Zachary Quinto, and I know that AMC also has an Interview with a Vampire show that's either started or is starting. So vampire content is still around. I mean, there's even a Netflix movie now called Day Shift about Jamie Foxx fighting off vampires. But in terms of a true blue Dracula movie, we've been pretty well starved of that kind of thing. So it's frustrating to me because an actual faithful Dracula adaptation is sandwiched in between this crap about families and scandals and just this whole nine. When I was just sitting there like, either pick the vampires or pick the Downton Abbey diet stuff. Like, go either way with it, and I'll be fine with it. But instead, they tried to merge the two, and tonally speaking, it's just all over the place. And at the end of the day, in a non-spoiler fashion, the tonal shifts of the movie really do not help the movie's case. It's pretty well acted. It's very nice to look at. There's definitely some near the knuckle stuff, especially for PG-13. I'm going to give this a good rating. I might be a bit generous in that regard. However, I do not understand some of the hatred that I have seen for it. The movie was fine, but like I said, I am just sitting here just like, really, y'all? That's what you decide to like it just I'm not saying I'm mad. It's a weird flex, and I just don't know what these people were thinking. But what did you all think of this movie if you did see it? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. And if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. And if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way, when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.